Hi, I'm Dan Aubuchon, and welcome back to the Joy of Tennis Teaching. Wimbledon just finished, and I hope you all enjoyed watching the matches as much as I did. Unfortunately, they had terrible weather and got behind and had to play most of the matches under the roofs. But the tennis was amazing, and I especially enjoyed watching the men's final where Carlos Alcaraz dominated Novak Djokovic in a way that I had seldom seen. As far as the picks from our viewers, there were only two people who picked the men's winner right. Paul Newman in England picked Carlos Alcaraz, and let's see, who else? Oh yes, I picked Carlos. So Paul and I were the only winners, and on the women's side, it was a disaster. The women's had so many upsets and so many things. I think, I had picked Coco Graf, who went out in the quarters. We had people who picked Swiatek, Sabalenka, but so many of the women's seeds got beat early that nobody had a winner in the women's side of the draw. Today, as you can see, I hope, I'm wearing a hat that I purchased at the International Tennis Hall of Fame in Newport, Rhode Island. This week, the Hall of Fame Championships is going on. Sadly, I found out for the last time. This is the last grass court tournament in the United States. And next year there will be no grass court tournaments in the U.S. I have a particular fondness for the International Tennis Hall of Fame because those courts are open to the public. And at 16 years old, a friend of mine, we drove the hour or so from my parents' home down to Rhode Island and played for a few hours on the grass courts in Newport. It was my first experience on grass, and I fell in love with the surface. The Hall of Fame is also an amazing, interesting museum, and this year the inductees on the Hall of Fame are Richard Evans, the British tennis writer, who's been one of the great writers in the tennis game for many, many years. Vijay Amritraj, the great Indian player, and Leander Paes, the great doubles player from India. So this is the first time ever that I personally know all three of the inductees into the Hall of Fame. So that makes it a little bit more interesting to me. But the final thing that we're going to talk about today is grass court tennis and what it can show us. Wimbledon is a little bit different because the grass courts have been changed so much over the years that players can win from the baseline and play baseline tennis. But the reason that I always had a fondness for grass court tennis is it rewards the serve and it rewards the attacking player. And I think that's one of the things that's gone out of the tennis game too much, is that emphasis on the attacking player. Serve and volley players have almost gone the way of the dodo bird. There's only really one or two players on the men's tour, and I don't believe any on the women's tour, that are primarily serve and volley players. The good news is that most of the best players are adding serve and volley as a tactic that they use occasionally. Last year in the finals of the Cincinnati ATP Tour event, an amazing three-set match which Djokovic beat Carlos Alcaraz. Novak saved numerous break points, and every time he faced a break point, he saved it with a serve and volley tactic. So I'm sorry to see grass courts go away because the incentive to learn serve and volley, I think, is going away. Former PBI pro and the statistical guru in the game of tennis, Craig O'Shaughnessy, from Brain Game Tennis, has proven to us that you win more points at the net than you lose. So with almost any player. But unfortunately, I think that the reason so many coaches and players have the opinion that you cannot go to the net is because they don't approach properly. They don't set up the geometry of the net game. If you are at the net, you are in an offensive position and you have the chance to win the point. But the game has improved so much defensively that I think you have to improve your approach to get to the net. So anyway, that's my little blurb for promoting attacking tennis and getting into the net. I hope you enjoyed Wimbledon. I hope you'll enjoy the summer U.S. tennis circuit. And next week, we're going to get back to more hardcore coaching focus on this channel. But I just enjoyed the Wimbledon break and the International Tennis Hall of Fame Championships. So that's it from the desert. We've been experiencing super hot weather. I hope you're having a good time wherever you are, and go out there on court and be joyful.